everything should be working now. Just gonna have to hope for the best and roll with the madness. Chapter 6. Luna and I tumble through the smoke and whipping wind to land with a dull thud on a riverbank. My stuffing feels jumbled, but at least our ragdoll bodies were made to be thrown hither and thither. As I comb my hair out of my eyes, I take in peak purple mountains raising sharply towards the sky, fading stars overhead, twinkling in uniform, steady pulses like the ticking of a clock. The charcoal smoke that brought us here rapidly disperses into the air, making into the air like morning mist, and I get a clear view of the river. Stones the size of coffins, worn smooth by time. Line the river bank. Despite the morning light, the water is dark and hazy. In the distance, a bird calls, cuckoo, cuckoo. What is this place? I wonder in a daze. Luna groans, and I crawl towards her side on my one remaining leg. At first glance, there's no sign of where my other leg landed. Luna sits up and presses a hand to her temple as if she had a terrible headache, and it's no wonder because the seam that runs straight down her forehead is split in two, and a tuft of cotton falls down over one of her eyes. Sit still, I tell her as I take my needle and thread from my pocket. I can stitch you up in no time. As I carefully tuck back in her stuffing and resew the row of stitches along her forehead, her bewildered gaze sweeps over the strange landscape. What happened? Unshed tears begin to fill up Luna's eyes. Did anyone else get pulled through with us? I shake my head. The last thing I saw, the vortex closed behind us. They're okay. But her eyes are glossy and distant. I don't understand, Sally. I did everything right. I stuck to my notes. I promise I prepared the sweet dream tonic exactly as we practiced. Her voice breaks like a snapping thread, and I rest a hand on her shoulder. Don't blame yourself, Luna, but it's my fault. I messed up the potion, and now we're stuck here, wherever here is. She shrinks back from the pointed mountains, and she shrinks back from the pointed mountains, stabbing at the sky. A ticking sound beats steadily in my ears, but I'm not sure if it's my heartbeat or something in the distance. I even made you lose your leg too. She brushes her face buries her face in her hands as tears bleed out between her silk fingers. You never would make such a mistake. My eyebrows fly upwards. Me not make a mistake? Why, I can't even begin to list all of the mistakes I've made. Like the time last year when I left a hinterland door open, and the Sandman put dozens of worlds to sleep. Or even now, I still can't find my missing leg. What good is a ragdoll who cannot keep her body in one piece? A chorus of birds calling cuckoo, cuckoo echoes in my ears like a warning. I rub Luna's back in a circular motion. I'm not sure it was your mistake, Luna. Her neck sob snags in her throat, and she dares to peek out from her hands. What do you mean? What was the last ingredient you put in? Licorice root, she vows. I double-checked that. It was the right jar, I swear. It's always been in stick form, but I figured this was a powdered version. I pressed my lips together in a deep thought as I gather bits of my stuffing that are scattered over the riverbank stones. The truth is, I'm not sure what happened during the exhibition. Luna brewed the potion correctly until the last ingredient. That mystery, chalky white powder. Safe to say it was not powdered licorice root. So how did it get into the jar? Unless someone swapped it out on purpose. A chill works into my tailbone, and I shift on the stone, but the sensation does not go away. Why would anyone want to ruin a sweet dream tonic? I can't wrap my mind around it. All I can think is that someone might have wished to sabotage the exhibition, or maybe even the whole ambassador program, or even Halloween Town, but why? A shiver sends me peering over my shoulder to make sure no one else followed us through the vortex. The last thing I want to do is worry Luna, so I keep the possibility of a culprit tucked away for now. I can't be sure, I say, but I think that powder was crushed gypsum, which when mixed, the same combination of ingredients as a sweet dream tonic produces what's called a smoke ring potion. It's very old magic. According to rumors, it was used hundreds of years ago to travel between realms before the hinterland doors appeared, but the spell was too dangerous and unpredictable and tended to send potion makers exact opposite of where they intended. I finished my mending job with a tidy knot on the tip of I finished my mending job with a stud knot on the tip of her nose and leaned back to examine my handiwork. The blue thread I used doesn't quite match her black strands, but it's close. She pats her hand down the seam, feeling the new unfamiliar stitch, while her brow is deeply wrinkled. Her big eyes swallow me up. So how do we get back to Halloween Town? I rub my linen hands over my chin without my spellbook or, of course, my ingredients. There's no way for me to recreate the smoke ring potion to take us back home, assuming it would even work again. That's a good question. Boy there. We turn towards a man striding over the stones towards us from the distance. From the direction of the river. Immediately, my body tenses. We're in a foreign realm. Someone might be out to sabotage Halloween. Memories batter my soft skull of the Sandman. Sleep deprived and sinister before I cured him, casting his poisonous sleep dust over Halloween Town. Careful, Luna, I warn, digging my red nails into her cloth arm. That man, or the man wears waterproof waders that buckle around his chest, and thick rubber boots. A fishing net made of delicate chainmail is strung over one shoulder, and in his hand, Sally, he has your leg. Luna jumps up and helps me to my remaining foot. Cautiously, I hop over to meet the man who hands me my leg. I hug the wayward limb to my chest hard. Its familiar, musty cotton scent clamors my, calming my knotted up insides. While I sneak warily glances at the fisherman, it takes only a few minutes with a needle and thread to reattach it to my body, and I wiggle my toes 3 times for good luck before putting on my shoe. I fished it out of the river, the fisherman explains, patting his chain mail net. Strangest caught I've ever had. Though his sun-reddened brow has a serious set, his eyes are kind, and my tense shoulders ease a little. It's lucky you were there, I say, running my hand lovingly over my calf before smoothing my skirt down over it. Then I pat my leg again with a slight brow. It's dry. How can that be if it fell into the river? Oh, the river of time? It's not made of water, the fisherman says. It flows with moments. Luna and I, Luna and I swap looks between us, scratching our heads. Moments, I repeat. Moments, droplets. Specifically, the man says, pinching his fingers in a motion like using a teardrop eyedropper. They make up the river amethyst mist, which flows from the high Chrono Mountains into Time Town itself. He points into the far distance where I can make out a few rooftops and a tall clock tower nestled at the base of the mountain. Time Town, my heart clenches. That's where we are. Indeed, I saw you tumble down like hourglass sand. He helps Luna and me to our feet again, and I test out my repaired leg with a few tentative steps over the smooth river stones. Now that I look more closely at the river, I can see clearly that the haze isn't on top of the river, but it is the river. Millions of pinprick moments, droplets hanging splendidly in the flow like glistening amethysts, crystals. The river of time flows, which paces steadily along the riverbank. Gentle, windy, causes not a single eddy or ripple, just like time itself. Remarkable, I breathe. If there's no water in the river, Luna pipes up, timidly peeking out from behind her curtain of bangs. What are you fishing for? That would be the Turno? That would be the inertia stone, the fisherman nodding one of the river rocks with the tip of his rubber boot. These rocks, from over time and if left alone, can dam up the flow of time in the human world. We timekeepers haul them out with our nets to keep time flowing smoothly. He juts up his hand. A meticulously crafted brass watch circles his wrist. I'm Nico Time. Sally, I step forward on my still wobbly leg to shake his hand. For now, best to leave off my title until I know how Town feels about my holiday and this is Luna. I'm afraid we're far from home and need a way back. You don't say. His brows pinched as he rubs a hand over his chin. We don't get many visitors in Time Town. All our doors to the hinterland and the other realms are hidden. The flow of time has to be carefully protected, you understand? We do not wish to cause any trouble. If you can just get supplies to make a potion. Nick shakes his head. No time for that. You should head straight to the Hall of Time. Father Time will want to speak with you about how you got here and why. Nick points towards the town rooftops, but crouching on the horizon. My heart shrinks 3 feet in the mud. Oh, by Time Town. It's so far away, it'll take us all day to walk there. You can take my boat, Nick offers with a kindness that should ease my fears, but doesn't quite. Not until I know what we're facing here. The river's current is swift. You'll be there in, well, no time. We follow him to a bobbing rowboat that seems to hover over the mist exactly as if they were floating on water. If it were floating on water. The boards are sun-bleached and the 2-oar handles worn smooth from use, but it's sturdy, well-crafted vessel. But it's a well-sturdy, crafted vessel. A rope secures it to an anchoring willow tree, which is a good thing because small waves of mist from the current splash against its sides, rocking it up and down. I've been on a rowboat before, but never like this. What do you think, Sally? Luna whispers. Glancing over my shoulder at Nick, I whisper back. All the other town rulers are as helpful as Santa Claus and Ruby Valentino. Remember the Sandman? And I'm sure you've heard about what happened with the Tooth Fairy at the All Realms Gathering. I sigh, combing my fingers to my hair. I don't think we have a choice. I don't have the supplies to recreate the spell that brought us here. We'll have to search for them in Time Town. Luna and I take turns climbing our wobbly way into the boat, hands extended on each side for balance. I take a seat with the oars and she crouches down in the boat. Nick unties the rope from the Countess unties the rope, then counts to 3 before launching us into the flow. The boat catches the current and spins downstream so suddenly that I grasp the wooden side, fingers squeezing tight, but once the boat rights itself and flows gently along with the amethyst haze, I ease my grip and rest my hand on the oars. With a firm wave from Nick, we're off down the river of time. The current carries us downstream at a leisurely pace, so the only reason I need the wooden oars, is to keep us roughly in the middle of the river, rocky shores, banked with inertia. I hold my book steady. Inertia stones pass by on each side, with the occasional weeping willow tumbling in the breeze. We pass another pair of timekeepers who toss out their metal nets to haul in more inertia stones. They pause their work to study us with curiosity but wary stares. Brass wristwatches, just like Nick's, wink on their wrists as I slowly pedal Luna's rehearsed. Luna reclines in the boat, trailing her silky fingers in the mist, flowing for a moment. Droplets with a brush her fingertips, they glow up with a shimmering glow for a few brief seconds before fading back into the mist. We round a bend. A tall slope rises on either side. The river narrows as it funnels between the amethyst mountains, their peaks like a witch's hat. There are no flat shorelines here for timekeepers to dock their boats. Boulder-sized inertia stones jut out from the mist, forming swirling eddies. The current picks up, shooting the boat faster around, then drops and swells. I grasp the oars harder to keep us steady. Luna sits upright, swaying from side to side to keep her balance. The current gets rougher. We'll be fine, I assure her in a forced, chirpy voice. I've paddled boats before. What I didn't tell her is that Jack was the one who pedaled our Valentinestown rowboat on a leisurely river of chocolate, rapids, rocks. The thought of them leaving my fabric skin prickled in goosebumps. Luna grabs the side of the boat, crouching low in the boat as she calls back to me which way to steer. We navigate around fallen trees and rapids that threaten to pull us under. The ravine narrows even more and the current increases. My oars slap up waves of amethysts, moment droplets that briefly shimmer on our clothes before fading away. As our vessel shoots faster down the river, my stomach churns with a rolling boil. Luna shrieks with each rapid ducking against the misty spray. Though she's frightened, there's a small amount of thrill in her voice. The lost pins in my stomach stab me with worry, but a small part of me has to admit that this is quite exciting. The leaves in my chest dance as I sweep up in an autumn breeze. Most of my life I've been locked away, made to sweep floors. I could only dream of plummeting down rapids in a magical new world, but the curves to my lips fade when I see the approaching rapids. These drops are so far down I can't see the current. White foam at the bottom. It's practically a waterfall of mist. My fists close impulsive, possibly hard against the oars, determined not to lose them. We head closer to the rapids. Sally, Luna cries over her shoulder, her voice reaching. I see it. Fighting the current that wants to spin us around. I paddle hard to keep the boat aimed straight at the rapids. If we go over the side, we'll surely capsize. The mist must not weigh our cloth bodies down like water, but I don't want to test that theory. In any case, we can't afford to lose the boat. Why is it Nick doing this? Whatever. The river oars beneath us, bucking us like a stallion. Luna's knuckles are white as she clings to the boat side. The rapids approaching quickly, and before I knew it, we dropped downward. This is it. Keep us steady, keep us steady. Luna ducks just as a drenched spray of mist splashes on over the bow. There's a brief moment when it feels like we're free falling, and my light body lifts a few inches off the bench. With a cry, I latch my foot under the bench, holding myself in place, but sprays of mist strike me like buckets of icy water to the face, and for a moment I'm blinded by the glittering droplets. All I see is shimmering purple glowing dots hitting hits of seeing in them. People I don't know, places I've never seen, someone's memories. We crash into a churning whirlpool at the bottom of the rapids, and with mist in my eyes, I can't see well enough to keep us straight. The current sweeps us around to the left like a clock running backwards, and we spin and spin and spin. Hold on, I yell above the rapids roar. I seam my sleeve to my I smear my sleeve over my face and blink, finally taking control of the vessel again. Heaving against the oars with all my strength, I paddle towards the eddy. Eddy. We hit a dip and the boat shoots out of the whirlpool like cork from a bottle, propelling us back into the down current. My heart tumbles so fast that I don't realize we're out of the worst of it until Luna looks back over her shoulders. eyes bigger than I've ever seen. Yeah, bigger than I've ever seen. Drops of glowing amethyst mist roll down her face, and yarn hair. Her bottom lip trembles, and I'm afraid she might burst into tears, but instead she cries, "That was incredible." A rapid breath tears from my chest. I let myself take a few grounded breaths. The panic drains over me before laughing. You know what? That really was. At least the ravine, ravine yawns open, gives way to rolling hills dotted with willows. The current slows to a pace that, while swift, doesn't make my heart race. Like a rolling stone, we clear another bend in the river, and then the copper rooftops of Timetown glimmer beneath the sunlight, yet beneath the sun. I shade my eyes against the brightness to in take in the boxy houses and shops, their angles as precise as dollhouse furniture, tall brick clock towers looks down over the tidy streets like a guard on duty. Not far ahead, Timetown docks extends into the mist. Suddenly, supported by enormous wooden pylons, I paddle to the nearest dock and we climb out and secure the boat. As I dust the shimmering moment droplets off my hands, I gaze up at the town. The wooden buildings are capped with spirals as pointed as a clock's hands. Most of the buildings' arched doorways have a smaller door just above them, and as the clock tower bell chimes a new hour, wooden cuckoo birds pop out of the little doors on springs. As soon as they finish, their mechanical mechanisms pull them back inside. The clock tower raises even higher than it seems to from a distance. Its brass clock face alone must be taller than even Jack. Booming ticks resounds as the second hand jumps from minute to minute. That was the source of the ticking I thought might be my heartbeat echoing in my head. I realize a sudden chirp sound a sudden chirp sounds near my elbow, and I jump, a hand flying to my chest. The wooden cuckoo birds are tucked back in their doorways, but a real cuckoo perches on one of the pylons, cocking its head towards me. It has spotted acorn brown wings, a downward curving beak, and glossy black eyes. I don't think I've ever seen a real cuckoo bird outside of Jack's encyclopedias. Do you think that? Do you think that's the all of time? Luna asked, grasping silently as she gazes up at the towering clock face. I think it must be, but we aren't staying long enough to find out. There's no telling what Father Time might do to us for trespassing in his town. We're going to gather the supplies for the spell and get back to Halloween Town on our own. First, we need to find a flower shop. I knit my fingers together as I turn to take in the town in mid-morning. According to the clock, and residents blistering about on their errands. They wear whimsical? Hang on. No, that's whimsical. Whimsical clothing that's a jumble of old-fashioned and fantastic futuristic styles with with watches, watch chains, clockwork jewelry, and fanciful hats adorned with metal gears. A brass wristwatch just like Nick's adorns each of their wrists. They're all going about their business with an air of precise, as sharp as a wound clock itself. A wound clock itself. Though we get a few strange looks, no one deviates from their course to stop us. Where will we find a flower shop? Luna asks. I suppose we'll have to ask. I say. I cross the street to approach a gentleman in a tweed vest whose shoulders his way over to a store labeled Tick-Tock Vinyl Records. But before I could greet him, he flicks a lever on his brass wristwatch and then incredibly starts walking backwards. Luna and I gasp as he repeats in a perfect rewind path back into the store. A moment later, he reemerges once more moving in regular forward time, clutching a brown paper bag in his arm. Oh, forgot my purchase, he says to a woman entering the store with a tip of his clockwork hat. My jaw is still hanging open when Luna tugs on my sleeve and points to a squalor? A squat wooden house across the street. A teenage girl wearing a wool shirt embroidered with a clock face, numbers sweeping her front porch. She sighs, bored with her. Hang on, I just lost my place. Bored with her drudgery, she sets her broom against the shingle siding, and with a sly look around, twists the lever on her brass watch, but instead of moving backward like the record shop gentleman, her Pam shoes zip forward in double speed. The broom moves with astonishing speed over the stope, and before the dust even settles, she has fast-forwarded her way through her chores. She resets her clock to normal time and admires her handiwork with a self-satisfactory grin, then plots down to take a nap in the shed of shade of a willow tree. Now that's handy. That's a handy trick, Luna said, rubbing her own bare wrist. I wish I had one of those during my dull old lullaby classes. In front of a bigger shop, 2 doors down, a pair of shy lovers share what looks like a pensive. Yeah, hang on. Tentative first kiss, breaking apart with matching giggles. They then rewind time with their wristwatches and relive the first kiss over again, and then again once more, seeing the sweet lovers instinctively makes me wish I had a wristwatch too, and could rewind time to Jack's and my first kiss atop Spiral Hill beneath the full moon, with my lingering smell of Christmas. Yeah, lingering smell of Christmas pine needles on his lapels. He mends the frayed fabric. Yeah, he mends the frayed fabric of my heart. Frayed fabric of my heart. Oh, Jack, he must be frantic trying to find me. How I wish I could assure him I'm okay, at least for the time being. I still don't know if Time Town is safe, or if Father Time will throw us in jail or banish us to some darkened, forgotten realm. Jack wouldn't be afraid. He would only see the magic and novelty of this place. Its cuckoo birds popping in and out of doorways, the giant brass ticking arms of the clock tower. It would daze his raven eyes, and capture his dreams just as much as Christmas Town did the first time he saw it. That's something I've never stopped loving about my husband. Even after visiting dozens of worlds, he still marvels at each new one. The warm memories of our first kiss fade into a dull ache in the very center of my chest. I dig up my palms heels into my ribs, trying to rub away the pain that, but it's persistent. Is Jack okay? If someone did sabotage the exhibition, as I suspect, there's no telling what harm the culprit might wreak on Halloween Town. I cannot help feeling like this is all my fault. I should have spoken up the moment I saw the sweet dream tonic take a wrong turn. Maybe it was a mistake to hold an exhibition at all. At that at our anniversary dinner, Albert suggested that my wish to unite the realms might seem away my own feelings of not belonging. It's like my nightmare of the little ragdoll figurine spinning around and round until she was pulled apart like a puppet wrapped over by 2 children. I am the Pumpkin Queen. I'm supposed to help my people, not put them in danger, and now Luna and I are here, far, far away, helpless to stop anyone who might intend to harm them. Balling my cloth hands, I stride over to a young mother sitting on the edge of a sundial-shaped fountain, laughing as her child splashes in knee-deep water. She is completely frozen in time, as still as a statue, and so are her children. Even the splashing water is stopped. Her motionless arm is poised on her wristwatch lever. I tap insistently on her shoulder. Her index finger gives a slight flick, and like a thunderclap, she suddenly blinks up at me with a broad smile, back in her regular flow of time. Her children crash down back into the present with squeals as they splash one another. Time flies when you're having fun, don't you know? The mother said as she nods towards her children. So we like to stop and savor the moment every once in a while. Her smile winkles. Her smile winks with certain as she looks over. Goodness, 2 ragdolls. Wherever did you come from? Did Father Time know you're here? Does Father Time know you're here? I try to smile past her question. Would you perhaps know where we can find a flower shop? She nervously adjusts the tiny banquet of clockwork cogs that form a brooch on her dress. Oh, well, over on Dawn Street, there's excuse me, a man's voice springs. A voice behind me, makes me jump a mile. I turn to find an old woman with a pair of copper goggles propped atop her tight gray curls. She wears rubber galoshes with a brass wristwatch on one arm, a timekeeper like Nick. May I ask who you are? She says, biting down on the cloth inside my cheek. I glance over the timekeeper's shoulder to judge if Luna and I should run. We're getting more curious looks from the Timetown residents. People are stopping, gawking. I want to bolt, but we wouldn't make it a block. There's a chance my title will sway her, though if she knows she's talking to a queen, she might let us pass. I'm Sally, the Queen of Halloween Town. This is Luna Slumber from Dreamtown. If she's impressed by my title, she doesn't show it. I'm Nuna, Chief Timekeeper. I'm afraid all visitors must report to the Hall of Time. You'll need to come with me right away. The young mother twists to watch us as we follow the timekeeper to the clock tower, which eclipses us like a sundial, and in its cooling shadow we approach the heavy doors. That is the end of Chapter 6. We're picking up on Chapter 7 later. Hopefully I got this fixed. Find out in post, I guess. Bye.